Hi everybody, welcome back. I've missed you. I've missed our readings. I know it's been a really long time and I'm very sorry. Uh, I just, that book broke something inside of me and I absolutely hated it. And I was going to finish it for you guys and give you a quick summary on what happened, but I just didn't care. I didn't think you would care. And if you care that much, you can always message me and I can give you the book itself, but do we care? Do we really? No. So, we're going to start off with a brand new book. I will finish it, I promise. It actually seems quite promising. It seems interesting, so maybe we'll get something more than just weird sexual things. We'll actually get a content, we'll get some story, we'll be good. It's called Flight from Death by Yasmin Galenorn. Let's dive right into it. I'm Shimmer, a blue dragon shifter. Thanks to a mistake, I was exiled from the Dragon Reaches and sentenced to work for Alex Radcliffe, a vampire who owns the Fly-By-Night Magical Investigations Agency. Okay. Now, not only do I have to adapt to Earthside culture, but every time I turn around, somebody's trying to kill us. And worse, Alex is as gorgeous as he is exasperating. Of course he is. But you know what they say, all's fair in love and bounty hunting. When an old friend of Alex's contacts him about a haunting at the High Tide Bed and Breakfast in Port Townsend, Washington, we think we're on a simple ghost hunt, but our investigation quickly transforms into a deadly fight as we uncover an 80-year-old murder, a cursed house, and a dark force trapping the spirits within. To stop impending disaster, we must break the curse and lay the angry spirits to rest. Sounds promising. Sounds interesting. So, you ready to do this? You ready to commit? All right. Chapter 1. Revenge doesn't stop. Daniel Craig. Love is like war, easy to begin but very hard to stop. H.L. Mencken. All right. Chapter 1. Hurry up, damn it. Get a move on, woman. Okay, I already don't like this guy. Alex shoved me toward the stairwell and jammed the door by shoving a large wooden wedge beneath it, but that would only buy us a little time. I'm trying, but the camera's stuck. I yanked on the strap, which had gotten caught in the door, as we beat a hasty retreat from the apartment where we had been spying. We couldn't afford to lose the camera. We needed the pictures on it. Not to mention, if I lost it, the cost for a replacement would come out of my salary. I wasn't about to leave it behind. Oh, for cripe's sake, Shimmer, just cut the bloody straps. For the love of... Alex grabbed the straps out of my hand, yanked out Juanita, his trusted big-ass Bowie knife. The blade glittered dangerously in the dim light. He sliced through the leather bands like they were butter, and bingo! The camera came free in my hands. Imagine not to play fumble fingers and drop it as we continued to beat a hasty departure. Someone was pounding on the door behind us, but we knew who was on the other side. We weren't about to let him in because he wanted to do really bad things to us at the moment. Get your ass down to the parking lot. I don't know. Alex bared his fangs, looking pissed out of his mind as he shoved me toward the stairs. I didn't protest, just raced down the steps with the vampire following. We made it to the third level of the garage and piled into Alex's sedan that he used for stakeout work. As he revved the engine and we swung out of the parking spot, the door to the garage slammed open and Jackaboy Jones came barreling out, his eyes glowing. He wasn't alone. His pack of good old boys followed. They were shifting into wolf form even as we managed to swerve toward the exit. With the wolves racing behind us, we hit the streets of Seattle. Lucky for us, it was 2 a.m., and there was no traffic to speak of. Alex made a sharp right turn at the intersection, and we left Jackaboy in the dust, his cronies now gathered behind him. I let out a long sigh and leaned my head against the seat. That was close. Alex grinned at me. Not really, love. He still had a slight Australian accent. I'm not doing the accent. Nope, not happening. I don't have a good track record with accents. Even though he'd been over in the U.S. for almost a century, it was charming in a boyish sort of way. I guess. I like Australian accents. They're sexy. I've been in far tighter straits. We have the pictures, and that's what counts. His wife will be able to press ahead in her case, and we'll get paid. We have one more divorce notched on our belts. Oh, God. This is excellent. With a twinkle in his eye, he began to whistle. But next time you get the urge to wear a pair of stilettos on a case, maybe rethink the idea. I'm not advocating Birkenstocks, but he laughed and held up the broken heel from my sandals. It had come off on the stairs and I left it, but apparently Alex had noticed. Ooh. It's like those TV shows where the women wear heels and boots when they go to catch criminals. No, I think we've had this discussion before. We might have had this discussion before, but that's not okay. That's not practical shoes. You cannot run in them, and you cannot chase anybody in them. I'd known better than to wear heels, but the truth was I've been feeling a little blah and wanted to at least look good. There's some really nice sneakers out there that'll make you look good. I'm just saying. Blushing, I tried to hide my embarrassment. You're a dick, you know that? I didn't really mean it, but I had to say something. He just laughed. Oh, sweet pea. I've known that for years. I'll grow on you. See if I don't. He switched on the MP3 player and AC/DC's Highway to Hell came blaring out. MP3 player? When was this written? 2015? As we headed back to the office, I couldn't help but think that he was already growing on me. Too much for my own good. Yeah. Holy fuck. What the hell are they doing in there? I grimaced as another crash interrupted my conversation with Bet. We were eating lunch. Well, what passed for lunch? It was midnight, but since our office hours were 8:30 p.m. to 5:30 a.m., this counted as our noon meal. Bet sat behind the receptionist counter of the fly-by-night Magical Investigations Agency, a fine gray marble vane with rich gunmetal. The counter stood between the back office and the waiting room. Bet was our official meet and greeter, and as unconventional as she was, people really liked her. She netted us a number of new clients just by the way she welcomed them when they came through the door. Something to do with pheromones, she said. I sat beside her, counting the crashes. That's how many? 5? The sound of breaking glass and raised voices would have alarmed me and sent me running into Alex's office if I hadn't known who was in there with him. Bet cackled. 4. Something's got her knickers twisted. What century is she from? That's for sure. I haven't heard them go at it like that for a long time. In fact, this may be the worst fight they've had. Maybe if we're lucky, she'll leave for good. That's not nice. I tried to look stern, but ended up giggling. I admit that would be a relief. We'll certainly be quieter around here for sure. When did I ever claim to be nice? The older woman, well, she looked like an older woman, even though she didn't act it, grinned and winked at me. Glenda's a real bitch when she gets worked up, and she doesn't like me. She gets worked up over little things a lot, though lately the fights have been nastier and more frequent. Do we care about this? She leaned over her plate and enthusiastically bit into the hamburger. Dripping with bacon grease and secret sauce, the sandwich smelled wonderful, and the look on the Melusine's face told me just how much she enjoyed it. We had that in common at least. Snake shifters and dragons both were major carnivores. There, though, any resemblance ceased. Okay. How big? So if they shift into a snake, do they shrink? Do they stay the same size? Do they get bigger? I guess it's the same question about dragon shifters. Like, where does that mass go? We need some science up in this bitch. Bet was a sight with her long gray hair curled into a bouffant and eyes the color of green leaves with sunshine sparkling on them. She routinely dressed like a biker mama. Today she had on skin-tight jeans, a glittering gold belt, a spandex v-neck t-shirt stretched so tightly over her ample boobs that the material looked ready to tear, and a pair of Doc Martens. The language in this book is so weird. I was expecting ample bosom, not boobs. All that was missing was a leather jacket, and that was hanging on the back of her chair. At least she didn't smoke while she was eating. That would have killed my appetite. We made quite the pair. When I'm in human form, I'm short enough for my kind, only 6 feet tall, with long black hair streaked with purple and blue. The streaks were natural, not dye. My eyes are the same royal blue, leading to a lot of people asking, do you wear colored contacts? It's easier to say yes. Add to that I'm strong and muscled and, like Bet, have big boobs. And I have a lot of interesting looks and a few too many hands I have to slap. Is having big boobs a requirement if you're a shapeshifter? Or do you choose to have big boobs? I don't know. I don't understand. Do you control the way you shift? As I finished my fish and chips, another crash split the air. This time it was followed by Alex shouting and Glenda shouting right back at him. Jesus. The argument was escalating, all right. Apparently, it had reached flashpoint because the door to his office slammed open and the succubus came storming out, as fast as her form-fitting pleather skirt would allow her to walk. She glanced over at us, glowering. Don't say a fucking word, either one of you bitches. At least I don't have to pretend to be polite to you anymore. And then she barreled out the door, shattering the glass window as she slammed it shut behind her. Well then, I guess she told us. I'll clean that up after we finish our lunch. Bet arched one eyebrow, then glanced over at the door to Alex's office. Wonder if he's alive in there, or if he took a direct hit. You think we should go and see? I followed her gaze, staring at the silent door. Bet shook her head. No, give it time. Alex peered around the corner of the heavy steel door. She gone? The twinkle that usually sparkled in those frosty eyes was absent, replaced with a clouded scowl. Can you scowl with your eyes? What's a... Hold on. The twinkle that usually sparkled in those frosty eyes was absent, okay, replaced with a clouded scowl. This wasn't the first time the pair fought up a storm, but tonight something felt different. Bet nodded, licking her fingers. Sure is, precious. I'll get a broom and dustpan after I finish my lunch. She paused. You all right, Alex? He shrugged, leaning against the wall. Fine, but keep an eye out. Glenda is persona non grata from here on out. I don't want her coming in and torching the joint. Her temper's worse than mine, and she believes in revenge. You two are on the outs? Bet lowered her voice, speaking cautiously. Vampires are scary dudes when they're angry, even to a snake shifter, and even to me. For good. We're done. As he turned to disappear back into his office, I wanted to ask what happened, but took my clue from Bet and kept my mouth shut about it. Before he could vanish behind the door, Bet cleared her throat. Just a second there, sweet cheeks. A call came in while you and Miss Prissypants were occupied. Patrick Strand needs to talk to you. He froze. He was about my height, 6 feet, and weak-colored hair that was always lightly tousled. It reached his shoulders, and the stubble of beard covered his chin. His eyes were frosty gray, and he was fit, with a fine spread of pecs and abs. If he's a vampire, how does his hair grow? How does he have a beard? Isn't he dead? I knew that from seeing him without his shirt a couple of times. The fact that I wouldn't mind seeing him without his shirt again was a thought I tried to keep to myself. Alex was a vampire, and he happened to be my boss. He owned and ran the Fly-by-Night Magical Investigations Agency, and I had been assigned to him for a 5-year stint, so I did my best to keep on his good side, even when he drove me up the wall. I didn't have a choice. Patrick Strand? You sure it was him? He looked puzzled. I haven't heard that name for a long time. He gazed at Bet, his expression thoughtful. 20-some years, if I'm on my game. Bet polished off the last of her meal, wiped her hands on a paper napkin, then tossed the bag and container in the garbage. This lady writes very specific details about things there need not be specific details about. The last time you two talked, it ended up with a major argument, if I recall correctly. I pricked up. I hadn't heard the story. I'd only been around a few months, and so far with what I had heard of Alex's exploits, I'd come to realize that I was dealing with someone as volatile and chaotic as myself, which was, in itself, a very scary proposition. Although he could be a real charmer when he wanted to. What happened? I had no shame when it came to butting in. Alex glanced at me, a smirk on his face. Patrick conned me out of $1,000 that I happened to need very badly. Tell us another one, sugar. You know you lost it in a poker game. Patrick won fair and square, but you know that's not the real reason you two parted ways. Beth snorted as she tapped the cigarette out of the pack, shoving it in one side of her mouth. She smoked like a chimney stack and smelled like one, too. That was reason enough. Patrick cheated. You choked. Her laugh was raspy as she lit up. The no-smoking sign above her desk never detoured her. Never detoured her? I think we have a typo. She ignored it, just like she ignored just about everything Alex told her, but she ran the company with an iron fist. There was no doubt who held everything together for us. You old bitch. I never choke, Alex snorted. Sure you don't, sugar. Sure you don't. But like I said, you know that wasn't the real reason you parted company, and I know you've regretted it ever since. She winked at him. They teased each other constantly. It was their pattern. Why don't you run along and call him, Alex? Patrick needs your help, and you two need to settle up and put your differences behind you. It's not like it was with Julian. Trust me on this one. Isn't it time to let the past go? She held his gaze, and I had the feeling something unspoken passed between the two. Instead of arguing, Alex let out a grunt. Whatever you think is best then, love. Email me that number. Isn't he like right there? Shouldn't you just write it down? He turned and went back to the office. And just like that, we were back to work. Seems like a really long chapter. Alright, so we're going to end it there because it is actually a really long chapter. I'm going to finish it up soon. I'm going to try to do these videos twice a week, Mondays and Fridays. Keep consistent as possible. Anyway, it's good to be back. Good to have a new story. This one seems actually pretty interesting. I like it. Have a wonderful night, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.